Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Women Who Lead. And I am honored today to have a trio of talented women with me. These leaders are helping our organizations move forward by implementing initiatives, ideas, strategies, and opportunities to better equip agents, employees, and the clients they serve. I am Teresa Palacios Smith, and I'm Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer for HomeServices of America and Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. And every month I get the opportunity to sit down con un cafecito and hear from inspiring leaders. And they are not only inspiring me, but others with their actions and convictions. And today I have the privilege of hosting forward-thinking leaders who are dedicated to growing initiatives, advancing technology, and providing tools and resources to support the advancing real estate industry. So let me introduce you to our forward-thinking leaders. With me, I have Caroline Isern. Caroline Isern is the Senior Vice President of Multicultural Lending with New American Funding, which is the largest women-owned and Hispanic-owned mortgage company in the country, and owned by my good friends Patty and Rick Arvielo. So a shout out to Patty and Rick. Caroline has 19 years of experience in the financial and real estate industry and is responsible for building, implementing, and ensuring the execution of the company's strategic plan and goals to increase and enable homeownership across the U.S. And also, she works with a program that's called NFA Cash. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So welcome, Caroline, to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Teresa, for the opportunity.
And also Natalia Karayaneva. And Natalia is the founder and CEO of Propy, which is a WEF pioneer, a Silicon Valley company revolutionizing the home purchase via smart contracts and AI, and whose mission is to automate the real estate transaction. I love that. We're going to learn more about that. She's an award-winning real estate developer, software engineer, and serial entrepreneur with extensive knowledge in real estate and cryptography. Natalia is a frequent speaker at Web3 and prop tech events globally, and she's an advisor to Arrington Capital and a contributor to Forbes. Natalia has a degree in computer engineering and a degree in sustainable urban development from the University of Oxford, all which is so impressive. So welcome, Natalia.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
And then Christy Casey. Christy is the president of Region 7 for Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, Fox & Roach Realtors. She has over 40 years of experience in the real estate industry and brings a wealth of experience as a master business coach from her tenure with Tom Ferry International, and holds certification in leadership coaching, speaking, and training through the prestigious John C. Maxwell Group. Christy, I did not know that about your background. That's really impressive. Her core competencies revolve around career consultation, where she guides individuals in discovering and harnessing their strengths to foster exceptional personal and professional growth. And one of the things that I think is really impressive is her experience in leading organizations to change is one of her monumental strengths and proven extremely valuable today in advancing initiatives within our organization. And I think that's really going to come hand in. We're going to talk about that because we're going through a lot of change in the real estate industry. So welcome me in joining our Forward Leaders discussion today. I'm excited to have you all on the show. And one of the things that I always want to know, because it's so interesting to me to find out how you decided to kind of move and maneuver through the real estate industry. How did you start your career? And tell me what your role entails. And I'm going to start with you, Caroline.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Teresa. I just want to say I am so excited to be with you guys. What a powerhouse group we have here today, right? So my responsibilities, I oversee all of the multicultural lending strategies for New American Funding. And like you said, it's the largest Latina-owned mortgage company in the United States. So what we do is we ultimately help increase access to homeownership for our underserved communities. And we have 3 core initiatives that I'm very proud of. So we have Latino Focus, that I'm sure that you've heard a lot about, where we identify the challenges of our Hispanic and Latino consumers, and then we look to enhance the quality of their lending experience. Today, we have 71 board members, and these are leaders from all aspects of the business in New American Funding, experts on what they do to help us, advance this cause. We also have New American Dream, This board was established in 2016. And our vision was to empower the Black community to obtain educational resources, products, services, win-win partnerships, right? And of course, in-market support to achieve sustainable home ownership for our Black community. And again, our board, we have experts in analytics, community outreach, home buyer readiness. It is so inspiring to see everyone come together and for a cause that is something bigger than ourselves, right? So another thing that we just launched is our Military Heroes initiative, that this is led by the amazing Leslie Bergen that supports military service members, veterans, and families. So the reason why I chose NAF, like you all said, is because of leaders like Patty Arvielo. She's our co-founder and CEO, and she takes a lot of pride in creating opportunities for minorities. And of course, she's laser focused, and the entire company is laser focused on helping bridge the racial wealth gap through home ownership, of course. And for us, I think it's not only about the financial product, but I think it's the sense of empowerment that we offer to people like myself. Like, I'm a first generation immigrant. And for me, buying a home has given me the power to succeed in this country. And I'm passionate about doing the same thing for our clients.
Gosh, I love that, Caroline. And I know it really is monumental, that first home purchase, that you have, especially when you are the immigrant, when you don't know or think it's possible. And I love all that you're doing. And of course, kudos to the programs that Patty and Rick have initiated within the organization. How about you, Christy? How did you get into real estate?
Well, I'd like to say it was a well thought out plan, but it really wasn't. When I first got married, I moved to a very remote part of Arizona. And the only person I knew was my real estate agent, Eunice Nelson, and I bet she's still in the business. She seemed to be having a really great time. She was doing a good job for her clients. And she said, Christy, you might be good at this. So given the opportunity, I took it and started working with her at that time. And it was the best choice I could have ever made.
I love that. And also you were telling me that you actually came from family that was in real estate, right? Who was in
my mom, it's funny. These things come full circle. My mom was a real estate agent with Long and Foster in the Washington, D.C. area.
Wow.
But I didn't really put that together until we started talking this morning. And I thought, wow, I almost forgot that detail about that company, which we're a part of.
Exactly. It's part of the HomeServices of America family. Well, what's interesting too is that, what I've done and I've learned from all of the leaders that I've been able to connect with is that those who came from real estate backgrounds will tell you they never, ever wanted to be in real estate. And then eventually were led to it because they realized the passion and the love that they had for this industry, that their parents or family members inspired within them. And they said, you know what, I really do want to be in real estate. Natalia, yours is so unique and so exciting. What you're doing to advance our industry is also very impressive. So tell me, how'd you get into what you're doing?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for having me here. And it's an amazing community that, Teresa, you introduced me to together with Nina Fabri and your leader, Gino Blefari. I'm a really very proud partner of Succeed program that accepted the Propy to your community this year. So I'm very thrilled to be here. And I would start probably with how I got into real estate, because when I graduated as a software engineer when I was 19, I first established a company in a garage in Bulgaria, which was a new European Union entry country. But when I saw that there is so much interest from foreign investors in real estate, I told all my coders, let's diversify, let's thinking about something new, let's acquire land, develop it, and sell properties to foreign investors. So when I was 25 years old, I established my first community. I had no idea how to build, how to get a permit, how to change a zoning, but with the dedication of the team around me and me willing to build something new, something that would unite people in a community, it really inspired me to go deeper and deliver what we have promised to people. So that's how I established also a brokerage that would help clients from all over the world, the UK clients, UAE clients, to invest in real estate globally. And the first big check I made was actually as a real estate agent. Before I released one of my first community, I helped clients to acquire properties in other communities in Eastern Europe. And then, as you mentioned, I graduated Oxford a couple of years ago, and I decided that now I want to unite the passion for software and real estate into something more impactful to allow realtors and consumers to transact easier so that realtors can focus on what they do the best, negotiate for their clients, building the relationship, help them to make one of the most important decisions in their life in choosing a home. A home, it's one of the most precious assets in our lives, one of the most important decisions in our lives. And thus I'm so passionate to be in this industry. That's what led Propy to be established first in Silicon Valley as a software prop tech company. But the core principle of our company is actually to empower people, whether we use blockchain or AI, it's to empower people to make housing more affordable with technology and empower realtors to make more transactions seemingly and focus on their clients.
Gosh, I love that. And gosh, that's really so amazing that you were able at that young age to do all the work that you've done, and that you are really helping us streamline our industry, which is really critical today. I know that sometimes technology is scary, right? But I think one of the things that really makes y'all very unique, and the reason that I talked about being forward-thinking leaders, is that you both, all of you, foster innovation. And I think that's extremely crucial in real estate today and what we're doing. And so how do you encourage creative thinking and problem solving among your employees, your teams, and your agents in order to drive success in this ever-revolving industry? And I'm going to start with you, Christy, because you have done a lot of shifting in the last couple of years in the growth of your company. And I want to congratulate you because you are president of one of our regions. That's a recent promotion, and one that I knew you were well deserving of. So tell us a little bit about how you do that, especially knowing how people are really fearful today.
Well, I think the cornerstone for growth for me and the contributions that I can make have all had to do with being a lifelong learner. And certainly, I engaged a coach of my own in 2008, and I became a coach in 2009. And I think that development is probably the most important thing I ever did for my career, because I will tell you, for me, this is the best industry, the best opportunities I could have ever had. And I'm not, I would say that, quite frankly, I was a late bloomer. I didn't really get in the leadership path until I was about 40 years old. And I think other industries that would have been late to the party. But for me, I think the combination of being able to continually learn and continually grow and feel that I could do whatever it is that I wanted to do. I had to have a plan. I had to follow a plan. I had to educate myself, have great mentors. I had a mentor with Chris Brown, our vice chair of our company today, that allowed me to pursue the development that I really wanted to do. And he saw the value of bringing it to the company. And I have that now with my boss, Larry Flick. And they value those things in a leader, and seeing good leadership around and wanting to be a part of that. In terms of the change, there's always change. And realtors are the most nimble people around that I know. And the changes that we're going on now, we will pick it apart. We'll find out what problems we are really solving. We'll create a plan of training and coaching and resources for our people. And we'll get through this like we've done for the New Jersey folks. Sandy, we sold real estate during Sandy. We sold real estate during COVID, and we're going to sell real estate in a changing environment. And I think anybody can do this if you decide that you want to tackle a difficult problem and you want to commit your time and energy to getting better. And there's a quote that talks about, don't worry, don't wish you didn't have challenges, wish you were better. And I think we can always get better, and challenges create that opportunity for us to get better.
I couldn't agree with you more, Christy. And I have to also give, kudos to Chris, again, a phenomenal leader, and also Larry Flick. They really are extremely, forward thinkers as well, and really understand our industry. And we've all been through this, and change is great. One of the things that I love about Nelly Galan is a Latina powerhouse, and she talks about befriend fear. It's your best thing. If you can befriend fear, you can go through every obstacle and learn new things. So I love that you are an innovator, that you continue to learn. That is really what we have to do, is just continue to learn. And I don't think that was late blooming at all. I'm the same way. I was like you, as far as, a late bloomer because you came with experience, and that experience is powerful. It's extremely powerful because you understand our industry and how you can help our own agents and employees and our teams move forward. So thanks again for sharing that. How about you, Caroline?
I love that quote from Nelly Galan. You need to drop that in the chat, Teresa. Yes. That's really good. For me, I would say that I always encourage my teams to operate with intentionality. I think it's the only way that progress can be done, right? To be extremely intentional. And I think that that's something that is at the heart of who I am. So definitely the other piece that I think is important is to encourage diverse perspectives. And the only way to do that is by building a diverse teams from different backgrounds, skills, experiences, so that we can generate a wide range of ideas. And last but not least, to me, I think that it's important to always recognize your people and reward innovation.
Oh my God, I think that is so absolutely true, Caroline. And one thing you do, like you just had a big event here in Atlanta. Is it Maui?
Maui.
Yeah, she gave a beautiful, just motivational presentation on how she even advanced and came up with solutions in the last 2 years, which have been tough for the mortgage industry. So again, I love that you are constantly innovating. How about you, Natalia?
Thank you for this question, because I think it's the most important one, how we bolster innovation and critical thinking, especially in a startup that has to move 10 times faster than any ordinary company. So I think the secret to that is really to surround yourself with hardworking, diverse, and disciplined people, whether it's within the team, advisors, clients, mentors, or even mentorees. You always have to focus on the best people, world-class engineers, world-class designers that you can learn from. You always need to think that you are the most stupid person in the room, right? It's comfortable. It's very uncomfortable. And that's how I feel daily. That's how I feel in this panel. That's how I feel in many settings. And that's the important point, to get out of the zone of comfort. And then also in the team, for example, at Propy, every team member is encouraged to propose creative ideas directly to each other or directly to me, avoiding hierarchy. Direct communication is key to innovation, and nobody has to feel bad if one leader is behind of something that is communicated directly to another leader. We work collaboratively to bring all those ideas to life, supporting each other's contributions. Opening meaningful discussions are integral to the team's dynamics. It's important also to build a very strong trustful relationships, right, between the team members, between the leaders. I firmly believe that the most vital element is that every team member perceives my company, Propy, more than just a workplace. It's a place for growth. And even if they decide to leave and my heart hurts, I wish them best and I want them to succeed in the next step of their career.
What a great way to run a company and mission statement within your organization, Natalia. There's no, I can see why you have been so successful, because you have to I've always surrounded myself with smarter people than me, because I feel I just am energized. My husband was a nuclear physicist, and I was always energized by people that had more skills, like they knew, oh, this, because I learned from them. So I think that's very admirable. One of the things that I want to ask all of you, which I think is really important, is how are you able to stay ahead of the curve and lead, with what's happening with these disruptions? How can you, lead your teams? And anyone can answer this, because we are being disrupted. And people always say, well, disruption is, is really scary, right? And they don't like it. But I actually find that you become more aware and you start to learn how to do other things, which is exciting. It's exciting, right? So how are you able to do that? And what are you able to lean from? Again, anyone that wants to answer that.
I can
I think it's the fact that we're not alone. We're not alone. We have great support around us. And I agree. It's nice to be at a table sometimes and say, what in the heck are you guys talking about? Because that's a very exciting environment to be in. But we're never alone if we're collaborative and we are on that path of getting better and learning more and being open-minded to other ideas, and have a kind of a mastermind idea even within this group, right? If we were going to churn a question and we all had a way in here at the end of this, we would have that fifth idea, and it would be better than any of us on our own. And I think if we're searching for those kinds of things and that kind of environment, and an ability to also say, I tried something and I failed, and be able to take the fact that you can fail too and learn from failure. Sometimes those are the best lessons ever. But I think when we start to think that we have to solve all the problems on our own and that we have all the answers, I think that's when we really lose traction.
Oh, thank you for that. I totally agree. How about you, Caroline? You were also going to say something.
I agree with Christy, but I think that one of the things that we all know is that change is the only constant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's through change that societies, technologies, individuals, they advance that way by adapting to what's happening, the new circumstances, the new challenges, right? How do we stay ahead of the curve? I mean, I think it's a combination of things. Of course, strategic planning, but one of the things that Christy said, she hit it right in the nail, is continuously learning, embrace technology. In order to, for us in our industry, in order to better serve the communities, you have to be out in the community understanding our home buyer needs, right? So definitely encourage innovation. And again, like I said before, in order to do this, you have to have a diverse team. You have to surround yourself with so many different perspectives, right? So that people can propose new ideas. And I think the other piece that I think it's really important, that is something that I've learned in my years, in other institutions and definitely in NAF, it's leverage data and analytics. I mean, to make those informed decisions, right? In our industry, I think that predictive analytics to anticipate what's going to happen in the market is key. So
it's so key. And what you said, Christy and Natalia and Caroline, about, first of all, failure, because, if you think about the biggest inventors in this country, in the world, they failed. So Einstein, I mean, they failed so many times before they got it right, but you only hear the time they got it right versus the times that they had to keep going until they got it correct. And then, of course, Natalia, you said something I thought that was really key, is that you have to exchange ideas. Some of the brightest ideas come from people. I mean, I saw, I recently saw the story of how the hot chips were created from a janitor that worked at a Frito-Lay, company. And he said, I think I have a great idea of chips. And it's now one of the #1 selling chips in the country. So to your point, Caroline, that diverse perspective is also really important. So Natalia, how about you?
I would encourage to sign up for Twitter, X platform. Now it's X, right? And just follow the tech accounts. If you want to keep up with the innovation that is happening in the blockchain space, in the AI. For example, yesterday, OpenAI had their tremendous demo day. And many engineers are talking about this demo to be as impactful as the launch of the first iPhone by Steve Jobs.
Wow.
And where do I learn about that? On Twitter. There are many videos, live streams of those most important tech events happening in the industry. That's the first platform right now where you learn from those innovations. And even on Instagram, just make sure you follow the tech focused people that you like to learn from those, right? Whatever topic you think. I believe that the biggest innovative platforms right now are blockchain and AI. These platforms or innovations will have as large impact as internet had on our lives and on our industries. And of course, reach out to potential people who could mentor you. For example, Tom Ferry asked me to coach him on blockchain last year when all the eyes were on this industry. We call it Web3. In exchange, I also asked him to coach me on public speaking and on leadership. And the same happened with Gino Blefari. I asked him to mentor me and my team on the 4 focuses of disciplines, which is very impactful for our team, but I want to provide my value and teach about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrencies, that there is there is more positive influence of this technology rather than the negative, and we just need to be aware of it. So this year is all about AI, but I believe next year it will again change into this new Bitcoin adoption wave because of Bitcoin ETFs that will be approved very soon, most likely. There's no guarantee to that. And Bitcoin halving that is happening. And last week on Friday, we had this AI Web3 and Real Estate Summit, where we had a lot of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices of America realtors and leaders. And that's where we had one of the most influential women, I believe, in America, at least on Wall Street, Cathie Wood. She manages $25 billion of assets. And she also have introduced this deep research on 5 most innovative platforms and innovations, which you can find free online. And 2 of those are blockchain and AI.
Natalia, that's so amazing. And I love all your recommendations. And certainly, really, you heard it here first, everyone. So do me a favor and provide me the name of the speaker that you just said that spoke at your phenomenal, a conference last week, and also about some of the technology that you said, you most likely will be a big deal in 2024. And again, it is ever changing. It's faster and faster. Every time you turn around, it's 10 times what it was when we first started in the in learning about the different technologies that are now really mainstream. So I know I want to now transfer more to learn about your personal journeys, right? Because there are, to me, it's about your leadership and how you've been able to maneuver and grow. And I really am impressed, Christy, with all the changes that you've had to learn and do, right? How has that transition prepared you, in your leading Region 7 now, and also in handling the changes that we're going through in our industry?
Well, I think this is an ongoing thing, right? We were saying that change is a constant, and I would say I'm still getting my sea legs, but it's okay. It's okay not to have it all figured out. But in earnest, I try very hard to problem solve and be very tenacious in handling problems that come up. And, I think one of the things that we all have is an ability to lean on past experiences and problem solving strategies, and leaning on people that have been helpful to you in the past are also helpful to you today. And the things that matter. I would tie it all to everything that happens to you. I think my experience as being a mother created my good customer service to my clients, and helped me manage real estate agents and offices. And, all the things that we do lead us up to where we are. And even though this is a new job, I've been through challenges before, and you use those skill sets that you've traversed in the past, and you learn some new things, and you get some new mentors, and you realize that you can handle it. And you see that as long as you stay tenacious and you lean into, what you want and not the things that you fear, you make really good headway. And I think we're always learning. None of us have this all figured out yet.
Well, I think it's so, again, impressive that, and also motherhood, you just mentioned it, right? It teaches you how to be, number one, flexible and to be able to pivot from one thing and to also multitask for sure, all those things, which is really critical in what we do. I think mothers, I spent time as a mother before I went back. I took time off, and I was so nervous when I came back to because people say you don't have the skill sets. I'm like, oh my God, I've managed budgets, learned how to do all that. I totally disagree. I think it's really, really critical. All right. So Caroline and Natalia, you both are immigrants to this country, and you have beautiful stories about how, how your heritage helped. I know you gave a passionate about how buying that first home, Caroline, was so critical to you. So tell me just a little bit about your story, about your immigrant, and where you're from, right? Your heritage.
Thank you, Teresa. Yes. So as an Afro-Latino woman, I was born and raised in Madrid, Spain. And a very important figure for me, I think, was definitely my father. And he instilled in me from a very, very young age the importance of investing in real estate. And, because it is the safest way to build generational wealth, right? Emigrating to the United States 12 years ago, and as a mother of two amazing daughters, I'm instilling in them the same message my father instilled in me, right? The power of home ownership and investing in real estate. And as a matter of fact, my oldest daughter, Tatiana, she is an active realtor who is paying for her law degree by serving, helping clients buy and sell homes here in Atlanta. So for me, when I accepted this position in New American Funding to help lead this strategy, right, to increase home ownership in our local communities and everything, standing up non-traditional programs like, NAV Cash, to me, that's when I knew that my why was coming full circle, right? So that's a little bit of my story.
Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. And I love that your daughter has learned from you and how that she's realized the power of home ownership. Natalia, how about you?
Yeah, it's a beautiful story, Caroline. My background, I think, helped me a lot to learn resilience. My mother, which she unfortunately passed away this year in January, but her entire life, she had to take care of 3 kids on her own. And she was building her wealth through buying a home, renovating it, and then selling it, and then buying another one. So my entire childhood, I spent in numerous different properties, which was hard to call homes because they were all in process of renovation. So I had to move a lot from one property, seeing how from nothing it would turn into a beautiful home, then would do the next and the next and the next, right? So this helped me to really become a resilient, self-dependent woman that would not rely on somebody else to feel the stability, the safety. And now I have a 16-year-old woman, young lady, daughter, who also I feel that she felt this, she started to feel this independency very early on, because me as a single mother, I moved to America 7 years ago to Silicon Valley with her alone. Back in time, she was only 10 years old, 9 years old, and we had to leave our lavish lifestyle in Eastern Europe, in Bulgaria, and basically move to an empty room and sleep on a mattress. And I promised her that this change worth it, that we won't have as much help in the beginning in America. But then she started to appreciate that everything that I have built and everything that she, together with me, we had to give up. It grew into something amazing, both in our personal lives, but also overall for the community. She sees that I was giving a lot back to the community, educating teenagers or women into those new technologies like blockchain. And obviously, she also taught me how to be more patient and how to lead with understanding the new generation. So that's kind of a little bit of my backstory on why I love real estate, why I never give up, why it's so important to understand the new generation, and to also teach them that you can risk anything and everything in your life as soon as you have passion for what you do and you have good intentions.
Oh,
my
I mean,
goodness.
it just makes me tearful, to hear this, right? And this travel to this country, both, you and Caroline, and not knowing what, I mean, that's the biggest, to me, scariest thing, because a lot of times even people come that don't know the language, right? And they have to learn the language and how to interact with other people in the different cultures that they come from. So, and you're from Bulgaria, right? That's where you were born?
I was born and raised in Russia, behind Polar Circle, very close to Finland. And when I turned 19 years old, I moved to Bulgaria and spent there 15, I think, or more years, mostly in real estate and construction. And my daughter is half Bulgarian, so I feel like Bulgaria became my second home.
Yeah.
But now America, what I love and enjoy, I feel this is my new home.
Oh, I think that's amazing. And so all of you, first of all, I'm just so inspired by each and every one of you. I can't even tell you. But one of the things that I need to know is you all had to face really circumstances that are brand new or taking you out of what your comfort zone is normally. And a lot of people, like I said, they're scared because it is scary to do something new. So how have you been able to do that? And what has it done for you to make you stronger, right? So that others can understand how they can leap forward when they are really fraught with fear. And I'll start with you, Caroline.
For me, I think it was during my tenure at Quicken Loans and, well, now Rocket Mortgage, that I actually met. I was hired there as a national account executive in the agent strategy team, and my focus was minority lending. So I worked with a team of Hispanic Latino bankers, and I remember I was going through some really, really tough times personally. My mother and dad, they passed away within a year from each other. And on top of that, I was going through a divorce. So it was pretty rough times, right? And my daughters were little. We were living in Detroit. At that time, I didn't have a support system. I didn't have family there. So one of the things that I really like, I don't even know where I got the strength from, but one of the things I'm most proud of is that during my first year there, I was nominated for a Gilby Award. And I was recognized as a top performer every single month, day in and day out. Yes, and the coolest part is that every single referral that I brought came from helping minority families get into homes. And this is the reason why I'm forever grateful to the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, because I mean, I remember I would wake up one day in LA, the next day I was in Miami, the next day I was in Chicago, Orlando, New York, Phoenix. It was crazy. And I would come in, I would present on our value prop to big broker offices, you know, a lot of mom and pop shops. And one of the things, and I think that it taught me one of the biggest lessons in my life, which is the power of relationships, because they opened so many doors, gave me so many opportunities, right? And I think that like Natalia said, when you have a strong enough why, you can accomplish anything, right? So
Oh,
yeah.
congratulations. And what a beautiful story of how you were able to face adversity and overcome it. And obviously your why was your kids too, you know, because you had to, you know, you had no support system and they had to. I think that so many times is what our why is our children. How about you, Christy?
You know, I feel I have been one lucky lady, and I think I've had a lot more opportunities and than I deserve, and you know, not as many challenges that I couldn't overcome because of this my foundation. You know, I have a great family. I have a great husband. I have had great education, good friends, and I think all of this makes you feel like I can do this. There's a way to solve this, and people around me that felt like, yeah, you could do that. This seems like a little bit of a stretch, but you can do that. And I think when you have enough of those experiences, when the change comes, as we've all said, it's constant. You can face it. It's not that you're not afraid, but you find a way to move through it anyway. And I think that's what we all do. You find a way to move through it anyway, and having a belief that you can do this, and everything that you've done before has led you to have the privilege of having the opportunity to succeed through something that's hard. And there's a lot of gratification when you succeed through things that are hard.
There
So
is so much.
that's kind of been more of my experience.
Well, and I also think that, you know, you just hit the nail right on the head with the fact that just having that confidence that others built in you. Sometimes you don't think you have it, and others are telling you, "Oh my God, you can do this. Oh, this is a breeze." For me, it's all of you, because when I see what you all have done, I realize, well, Caroline gave me that inspiration. She can do that. Natalia's doing that. You know, Christy is doing that. So I know I can do it too. You know, that's really what causes me to really move forward on initiatives that for me are scary too. Natalia, you are in an industry that also is male dominated. So I know that that's had to come across as well as your challenges, right? So for you, what does that look like? Have you had to face, you know, adversity there with your ideas and what you're doing?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, or fortunately, because now this becomes a part of my story. Before moving to the United States, I actually tried to live in Dubai. And UAE, you would expect that a woman would have less empowerment and everything, all decisions are male dominated. But because I had low expectations, I actually was pleasantly surprised that I was somewhat heard there. And then right after that, I moved to the United States, to Silicon Valley. And that's where I had much higher expectations. And frankly, I was disappointed. I was disappointed to learn that only 2% of female founders are backed by venture capital. I was very disappointed that in the real estate industry, which is dominated by female realtors, 67%, I think, and yet in the leadership positions, we have, I believe it's less than 10%, but maybe Teresa, you can.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Very low in the C-suites.
Yes, exactly. So I would expect more. And there is a famous Harvard research stating that normally female leaders get questions about how would you address risks if your strategy will fail, while male leaders would get questions both from female and male leaders on how big your strategy or your plan can become, right? So we are poised to ask different questions and make female team members or leaders defensive rather than state them right away at the position of a winner. But in order to overcome that, it's important to have those conversations like now and to portray more and more female role models.
Oh, so true. And that's the thing I find so inspiring about this show, because I want to show the force of women in leadership, because what you said is so very compelling, and how you saw that even in the UAE, right? You were able to get more support because of your brilliant mind as to what you were doing versus coming to a Silicon Valley, which is also male dominated. You know, women in STEM are just a very small percentage of those that are, you know, pursuing opportunities. This also are innovation. And so again, you see a lot of that happening, and we got to change that. We got to change that path.
And if I could also mention one more point, why is it so important to support women in tech, specifically in technology, and leaders in the real estate industry that are female? Why? Because right now, OpenAI and other tech companies are creating algorithms of the future. Propy is also creating protocols and algorithms of the future that will define not only how our society will work and operate, but also how the industries will operate, how the real estate industry will operate. It's not only about the commissions, but the MLS system, the Zillows of the world, how all those algorithms and technologies will allow diverse community members to get a loan, to get into home ownership. All these discussions right now are male dominated, and we have to bring diverse people. I'm not talking about only about gender. We have to bring diverse leaders to the table that can give their perspective so that the future algorithms to be built equally.
Right. And I know that, gosh, great point, Natalia, because, you know, I know that a lot of times in the past, you know, when people were designing homes, when our builder they were designing homes that didn't have women in mind, who are the number one, by the way, the number one home buyer today are women. They lead the pack. And also the number one users of home, you know, technology and home innovation, and they know and see what is important for their families because they pretty much run a household, right? So all of that is so critical in AI and real estate and what we're doing in our industry. So thank you for bringing that up and mentioning how important that is to our technology and to the algorithms that really are going to impact how we do business in the future. So as we move forward, because we're really running out of time, I love to hear book recommendations. People know that I'm not a big reader, but I love Audible. And Natalia, you've mentioned a couple of things that I wasn't aware about, like Twitter, right? But what are some books or even, you know, or any type of social media that you think people can learn from that is so meaningful that you want to pass it on?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the first book is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, about how Nike was built. It's more about the resiliency and change. I think it will be very helpful to any real estate agent. The second one is No Rules Rules by Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix. It's very helpful for leaders and teams on how to create a culture of trust, autonomy, how to reach high performance culture. And the other one that I really loved is Sovereign Individual. This book was written in 1997, but it really portrays the future of how nations will change, and how Bitcoin, blockchain, AI got into this point today, and he predicted this all in 97.
That's
And
amazing.
yes, and then another idea that is related to this book is a new concept by a tech leader named Balaji. I would recommend to follow him on Twitter because he also very often shows a number of different communities all over the world, real estate developments that are built with a very different business model. So those are the three books, and I love reading books. Please send me any books that you guys think that would resonate based on this conversation. But those are three books, and Balaji, the Twitter account that I would highly recommend.
Would you put that in chat so I can make sure I put it out to the audience on Facebook? So add it to my chat, and that way I can certainly recommend it to our Facebook audience. Caroline.
For me, I think one of the most impactful books has been Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. She's the past CEO of Facebook. And I know that it received some criticism, but I found it really valuable and insightful. It encourages women to pursue their career goals and to have that confidence and that ambition, right? To be bold and know that your voice and your perspectives are required and necessary. And this is really funny because many of the principles that she shares in that book are very familiar to the principles that Patty speaks about in her mentorship programs. Speak up, don't lean back, right? When you walk into a room, know your worth and make sure that you speak up. So it really resonated with me.
Love that book. I totally agree. And I think what I love about it too is the vulnerability that she provides that allows you to say, hey, you know what? It's like she questioned her own ability, right? And I love that about Sheryl Sandberg. And I agree. I think it's a great read. Christy, how about you?
Wow, I've been trying to decide what I'm going to say because I love to read and I have so many books and I'm usually reading 3 or 4 at the same time. Not all business books, but I guess the most impactful business book I've ever read is by Susan Scott, and it's called Fierce Conversations. That really affected my the way I communicate and have conversations and be in relationship with people. And for realtor friends out there, I would say it's a great new book out. I'm from the New York area, so I love the reference to all the New York restaurants and so forth, but it's called Unreasonable Hospitality. And I think it's a way to show differentiation with the people that you serve at a higher level. And I think that's a real puzzle that we need to solve and be better at that. And I just want to say one thing, Teresa. I think we need to take our rightful seat at the table. I think opportunities are there when we are prepared and we can demonstrate our value in the same way we have to demonstrate value as real estate associates. And we have to build that skill. And when we can deliver that, we earn a seat at the table.
I think that's great advice. And I love the book recommendations. I'm not familiar with either of those books. So put it in chat so that I can also relate to our audience. All right, we're almost out of time. Last question that I love to ask everyone, because I love quotes. I think for some reason, quotes really provide me somewhat of affirmation, right? So what is your favorite quote or affirmation that resonates with you? And we got just to quickly, and what, that you want to share with our audience, and what does it mean to you? And again, I'll start with you, Caroline.
My favorite quote is from former First Lady Michelle Obama. And it says, instead of letting your hardships and failures discourage or exhaust you, let them inspire you. Let them make you even hungrier to succeed. Right?
That one I have not heard yet. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Again, what it says is that, setbacks are a natural part of life, and how we respond to them. That's what makes the difference in our journey towards success, right? So I love that quote. Really,
I do too. Thank you for sharing. Christy.
I have a very simple quote on my desk, and it says, focus on what you want and not what you fear.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a new one too. I've not heard that one. That's great. And Natalia, will end with you.
I think I have a favorite quote every quarter, depending on the life cycle that each person is going through. Right now, I also had a very, very difficult year, and I'm very much leaning into affirmations. So I'd like to, instead of a quote, to share my affirmation. Yes. I am grateful for everything I have in my life. Anything is possible. I am driven by my future, and I can live in this moment.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful affirmation. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow, what a show. I've just been so inspired by all of you. I'm going to leave two things that I want to share. One book that really I went back and read, Who Moved My Cheese. I actually read that book just because it's so easy to read that I loved it. Who Moved My Cheese? That's a great book right now because, again, we're all changing, and that's part of what we have to learn, right? Thank you so much for sharing your stories, for inspiring us, our audiences, and for joining me today por un cafecito, right? Which I think is the best way that we can move forward. And also, I wanted to share this quote, which I thought really described all of you. Leaders are by definition change makers. When you are called to lead, you are called to advance, move forward, and improve the situation. And that is what you all are doing today. Thank you again for spending this time with me and our audience. I learned again so much of each of you and the great work that you're doing to help move our industry forward. And I really enjoyed our conversation over our cafecito. For those of you, please join me again on December 13th, where we're going to, right here on this channel, we're going to zoom in on another great team of leaders. And don't forget to join our Facebook page, which is womenwholeadseries.com, and share our episodes and like our YouTube channel as well. As I close, I really want to say that these women are empowered, and empowered women empower women. So I want to thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you again, Caroline, Natalia, and Christy, for being part of today's show. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.